The alarm chimed softly through the corridors of Research Station Kepler 442b, its gentle tone designed not to startle the various alien species aboard. Security Chief Vextar's four eyes blinked in sequence as he reviewed the alert on his scanner. Sector 7, the nursery wing. Something about unauthorized construction activity. Vextar's chitinous legs clicked against the metal flooring as he made his way through the station's winding corridors. As head of security for the Galactic Research Consortium, he'd seen his share of odd incidents. When you housed researchers from 17 different species, strange things were bound to happen. But unauthorized construction in the nursery wing? That was a first. The nursery wing housed the offspring of various species while their parents conducted long-term research missions. It was considered the safest, most monitored section of the station. What could possibly require his attention there? As Vextar approached Sector 7, he could hear soft chittering and the occasional thud. His mandibles clicked nervously. The cubs were supposed to be in supervised rest period. Through the reinforced viewport he could see movement, small forms scurrying about with purpose. He palmed the door control and stepped inside, then froze. In the center of the play area, surrounded by what appeared to be an elaborate structure, made of cushions, blankets, toys, and even small pieces of furniture, lay James Morrison, the station's human xenobiologist. The man was fast asleep, completely unaware of the construction project happening around him. But it wasn't random construction. It was clearly deliberate, organized, and strangely beautiful. The cubs had built a nest. A dozen younglings from 6 different species worked together with remarkable coordination. There was little Zix, a Manthari cub whose species was known for their architectural prowess. Her 6 arms moved with precision as she wove fiber-optic toys into the structure's walls, creating patterns of soft, pulsing light. Nearby, 2 Velcarian cubs, normally fierce predators even in their youth, gently placed thermal blankets with their sharp talons, careful not to tear the fabric. But what struck Vextar most was the cooperation. These species were natural, enemies in the wild. Manthari built hive cities specifically to keep Velcarians out. Cordian jellies dissolved anything organic they touched, yet here one floated peacefully, using its bioluminescence to provide ambient lighting for the other's work. At the center of it all, James slept on, completely oblivious. Vextar activated his comm unit. Dr. Fiza Rahman to Sector 7, please. Urgent but non-emergency. Dr. Fiza Rahman, the station's head of interspecies psychology, arrived within minutes. Her dark eyes widened as she took in the scene. How long has this been going on? She whispered, pulling out her data recorder. Unknown. The motion sensors registered activity about 2 hours ago, but they might have been working longer. Vextar's voice carried a note of bewilderment. Dr. Rahman, I've never seen interspecies cooperation like this, especially among juveniles. Fiza nodded slowly, her mind racing as she observed the cub's behavior. James has been working triple shifts, this week helping Dr. Kelvin with the Quantum Flora project. He must have come here to rest and they found him. As if summoned by their conversation, little Zix looked up from her weaving and chirped softly in broken standard. Shh. James tired. We make safe warm. Fiza's breath caught. The cubs had learned to recognize exhaustion, not just physical, tiredness, but the deep, bone-weary fatigue that came from overwork. Something in James's condition had triggered their protective instincts across species lines. But why? Vextar asked. These cubs barely interact with the human researchers. Most avoid them entirely. Fiza watched as a tiny Zelthian, a species known for their timid nature, carefully tucked a soft blanket around James's shoulders. Watch their behavior patterns, Vextar. Look at how they move around him. Indeed, every movement was careful, deliberate, protective. The cubs had positioned themselves as sentinels around the sleeping human, and despite their different physiologies and instincts, they all seemed to understand their roles in this impromptu guardianship. I think, Fiza said slowly, they're responding to something uniquely human. James doesn't just study other species, he genuinely cares for them. The cubs can sense that. They've watched him work with their parents, seen his dedication, his kindness. A soft murmur from the nest drew their attention. James was stirring, his eyes fluttering open. For a moment, confusion clouded his features as he took in his surroundings. The soft lights, the careful construction, the small faces peering at him with what could only be described as affection. "What? How did I get here?" he mumbled, sitting up carefully to avoid disturbing the structure. Little Zix chittered excitedly. James was tired, sad. "We made nest. Better now?" James looked around at the cubs, at their creation, at the unprecedented cooperation between natural enemies, and his eyes filled with tears. "Yes, little one. Much better." Fiza stepped forward, her recorder still capturing every moment. "James, do you realize what they've done? This is the first recorded instance of voluntary interspecies cooperation among juveniles of this many different species. And they did it for you." James reached out and gently stroked Zix's carapace, earning a pleased trill. "They're remarkable, all of them." He looked at the other cubs, each so different yet all united in their care for him. "I don't understand why." "Because," Fiza interrupted softly, "you see them as individuals, not just specimens. You learn their names, remember their preferences, celebrate their achievements. To these cubs, you're not just another researcher. You're pack, family, flock, whatever concept of belonging their species holds dear." Vextar found himself deeply moved, though he'd never admitted in his security report. "What do we do now?" "Protocol says I should dismantle unauthorized structures and return the cubs to their designated rest areas." James looked around at the nest, at the cubs who had worked so hard to create a place of safety and comfort for him. Then he smiled, that peculiar human expression that somehow conveyed warmth across species barriers. "Maybe," he said. "Just this once, we follow their protocol instead of ours." And so, for the first time in Galactic Research Consortium history, Security Chief Vextar filed a report recommending that an unauthorized structure be left in place. His justification was simple. It was a diplomatic breakthrough of unprecedented proportions. After all, if human exhaustion could inspire such cooperation among natural enemies, perhaps humans had more to teach the galaxy than anyone had realized. The cubs had built more than a nest. They had built a bridge between worlds, one soft blanket and glowing toy at a time.